My father bought me this tool some time ago. It looks like a normal jigsaw, but the saw blade is a mini bar with a chainsaw chain. Yes, just like the ones on chainsaws. How cool! Since the guide bar is rigid, it won't bend while we cut the wood, which is what happens with the jigsaw. We already know it causes the vertical cut to come out crooked. These pieces allow you to adjust the cutting depth. Yes, I know that sounds a bit strange, but we'll see it. This clean cut insert is for making clean cuts. You'll see it's very necessary. And here we have this curiosity. It's exactly the same as a chainsaw blade, but in miniature. It has its rigid guide bar and its chainsaw chain with links. They're very small links, and they're joined together by tiny pins. Being so small, I wonder how much those pins can handle the force and heat. The guide bar is really rigid. This won't bend while cutting wood, unless you push the machine too hard and break it. To install the chainsaw blade, open here. It only fits one way. If I flip it over, with the other side up, it won't fit. The typical trigger, with a speed adjustment wheel. This way it moves slow. And now it moves fast. On the other side, the 45-degree adjustment system is easier to use than the one on jigsaws. And once adjusted, it's also more rigid. We can set it to cut at different angles quite easily. Of course, it's always a good idea to check the angles. For the 90-degree angle, we have here a small adjustment screw that makes the plate lift up or drop down to set the angle. The clean cut insert needs to be put in with the chainsaw chain already mounted. It clicks in, and it's ready. You remove it by pushing the plastic locking tab. The piece to improve dust extraction covers the top part of the guide bar, but you can't install it together with the clean cut insert. The pieces to adjust cutting depth go in the same way. Yes, it's what it looks like. With them on, you cut with the saw tilted backward. This one is taller, and you can even put both together to make shallow grooves. Look how tilted it sits. Soon we'll see how it cuts when tilted like this. Here it doesn't look like it, but these pieces are a bit tricky to remove, and even more to separate from each other. The size and weight are about the same as a jigsaw. The sound is softer than a jigsaw's, and it vibrates less, of course, because it has no pendulum action. I'm going to cut melamine-coated particle board, plywood board, and pine board. The top part of the cut is a mess. On the other hand, the bottom part of the cut, I'm surprised it's quite clean. Look at that, wrecked. But underneath, super clean. And on the pine board, same thing, as expected, because this is like a mini chainsaw. Now let's try using the clean cut insert. There it is, already well set against the chainsaw chain. But I just realized I have not connected the dust extraction. Now I'm going to cut with the extraction connected, although here on the side, it's a bit uncomfortable. With the clean cut insert, the top part of the cut really improved a lot. On the melamine too, it got much better, though it's still not a furniture-grade cut. This time the bottom chipped the melamine a bit. And on the pine wood, well, pretty good. I'm surprised, after the mess we saw cutting without the clean cut insert. And this is clean. And dust extraction worked to keep this clean. Now I'm going to use both depth adjustment pieces together. Here I can add the clean cut insert. Since the saw sits tilted, I need to make sure the back part has support. The groove it makes is 2 millimeters wide and 5 millimeters deep. And this is the groove it made. I am going to try the tape trick. Let's see if it helps to improve the cut in the melamine. The cut, in both cases, comes out a bit torn. I was thinking that, the manual says, don't try to cut pulling backwards. But what if I first cut a groove backwards? Going backward, the chain cuts into the wood, and I hope it makes a cleaner cut that way. Okay, the problem is that the chain pushes downward and lifts the saw. I have to push it down, and that makes it harder to cut. The first cut didn't come out as clean as I'd hoped. Maybe it's a matter of practice. And now I finish cutting through the whole board normally. Okay, I didn't expect this. The second cut didn't line up exactly with the first groove cut. Here's the first cut. And from the depth of the groove down, we have a small step. On the other side of the board, the cut is really clean. I just showed you this side of the cut. And look how the other side of the cut is completely torn out, because the chainsaw chain, due to some unknown reason, cut slightly off to the right. This sort of plastic castle, it sticks out just a bit from the width of the metal base. And when I remove it, the metal base sits closer to the guide strip, But then the tear-out should be right on the other side of the cut, shouldn't it? Well, maybe I could try the same thing but with the guide strip on the other side of the machine. But the metal base alone won't sit properly against the guide strip. That'll be for another video, trying to make this work, because in the next video, I'll do something with this machine that turned out more interesting than I expected. Thanks for watching the video, and if you like my videos, subscribe and hit the bell.